is to kind of go over how quizzes are going to happen post spring break. So they're still on Google Docs, just like we tried out, I think once or twice before. However, just given there's 30 some odd of you, you're allowed to work by yourself. You can work with a partner, or you can work with two people. So groups of 1, 2, or 3. And to prevent receiving 20 or 30 emails with a couple different pictures from your phones of your work, I want everything to stay in the Google Doc. However, I also want you to be able to show me your work. I want to see your work, so I can provide feedback. So we're gonna make our quizzes a little nicer. So what you see right now is the quiz that this video is embedded into, and I'm going to give you a couple tools for typesetting. And you won't see all the stuff I'm doing when you actually see the quiz. I'll be deleting it, but I'll use the quiz to show you. So there are questions in the quiz, and they involve matrices, or they might involve vectors, or functions, or polynomials. And what I don't want to see, and I won't accept, I don't want to see stuff like this, right? We can do better. So there's a couple ways you can do better. One way is you can use superscripts. Now, there's shortcuts for all of this. And so if you look under Format and Text, you can see that superscript is the control button and the plus button. So worst case scenario, you can do something like that. That's far cleaner. But an even better option is to go under Insert, go down to Equation, and then there's a small toolbar here. It's not great, but it's not too bad either. So if I do T, and then I press Shift 6 for the caret, it automatically detects a superscript. I use the right arrow to bring it back down, and then I can type some stuff, and it looks a lot better. It's a lot cleaner than just typing plain text in. And I will expect this sort of thing. I don't want typed plain text equations. For one, it's more professional to write stuff this way, and it'll make it easier for everyone to read. Now, I'm also asking that if you work with other people, that you place all of your discussions in comments. Don't snap each other or Facebook message each other, because excuse me, then I can't see what you're doing. Now, if you're embarrassed by it and you're like, I'm so lost, I hate this damn class, whatever, all right, you want to snap each other, that is fine. But if the question is, I'm not sure it's supposed to be a quadratic, or I don't think the coefficient is supposed to be 6, then highlight it and make a comment. And write, I don't think the, coefficient should be, 6 or whatever, and then comment. And then don't resolve the comments. You can respond to them. Oh, sure, I see where you're coming from, blah, 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 but remember that, blah, 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 and then you reply. And then if you're looking in a group of, a couple people, the next person can say, oh, right, yeah, okay, so what you're saying is that, blah, blah, blah. And so, this might seem a little vulnerable in that you're displaying your ignorance, but please don't feel like your quiz has to look like I took it. I want to see these things. These comments will help me help you. If I see that in a bunch of quizzes, people are talking about a certain idea and a certain confusion, I can put up an additional video. I can put up some additional examples. On Top Hat, I have the ability to create questions that you can practice on that aren't worth any points. And so suppose 10 of you have trouble with vector spaces, and the rest of you are fine. I can make up 4 or 5 more questions that are not worth any credit, that are on Top Hat. You can practice. You can try them out and see if you get any better at them. You can ask me questions. So I want to help you. It's a little trickier. I'm not standing at a chalkboard, and I can't just create examples and kind of chat with you dynamically. So this is one way we can do this. I'm going to resolve this comment because you don't need to see my example. So far we've got the equation editor for Google Docs. We have comments. Now, suppose we're over in Symbol Lab and we're doing something, and for some reason, we need the determinant of oh, is there an example? Yeah, let's just use this example. So I've got something. I want to see what you did. I want to see what you figure out. And so there's a couple ways of doing this. I haven't actually tried what their share feature is. Let's see what they do. No, I don't think we really want this. I don't know. What's the email look like? Is it an image? That's, I don't really like that. So one easy way to do something like this is print screen. So it's different on different computers. On PCs, there's a button which is PRTSC, usually in the upper right-hand corner, print screen. For Macs, there's a different keyboard shortcut. If you Google how to print screen on the Mac, you'll find it. And once you do that, we can go back to the quiz, and if you paste, it'll paste that screen. Do not leave the whole thing in there. Right? If you click on the picture, and then you right-click on the picture, there's crop. Crop will allow me to keep only the part I need to keep and to leave the rest of it. So then you're going to click outside the photo, or the image, and then you can stretch it to be a little bit bigger, and then, like, that's a bit more helpful. In fact, we could even crop it a bit more. You can crop it more than once. It'll show you the original boundaries of the image. So I could do that. And then again, you got to click outside of the picture. And there we go. So that's still a little clunky, but at least it's clear that you did a determinant. You're clear that you have a matrix. So that's much neater than anything else. What's another way you can do stuff? So the other link I give you in this quiz is to LaTeX to PNG. So it looks like the word latex. So the original typesetting language was TEX, which was tech, and then they expanded it, so now it's LaTeX. It's definitely a bit of a joke, but it's pronounced LaTeX. And you can find lots of tutorials. It's pretty easy to use. You'll get used to it really quickly. So for example, if you use the caret for caret 2, that does exponents really nicely. You can find PDF. Maybe I'll link a PDF to the quiz of common expressions. So here's frac, and there's a fraction. And so most of the commands they start with a backslash, and then they take arguments inside of curly braces. So you can do all sorts of really nice stuff here. And it generates PNGs, which scale nicely. What's particularly nice too, and if you're interested in it, again, I can show you how to do it. It's really easy. You can make vectors really, really easily once you know the syntax. So I wouldn't show this to folks who weren't the kind of people who do coding anyway. There's only a small number of commands that you need to have here before you can create really, really nice, really nice formulas. And what's interesting about this is, so we go ahead and we save this. It saves as something ridiculous, but I can just make it 1.png and replace. And then, if I want to show some steps, suppose this is the first step, and then I want to simplify it. Well, then it's really easy. 16 plus a half is 16.5. And then, this is a ridiculous expression, of course, right? And then I just generate it again, and now I have it simplified, and I can go ahead and I can save that. It's 2.png, right? And, whoops. And so you can continue to, whatever, work out the steps in these sorts of things. So let me talk a little bit about how to do matrices and vectors. So pretty easy. So you're going to always type begin, curly brace, B matrix, curly brace, and then just go to the bottom right away and type end, curly brace, B matrix. B matrix means bracketed matrix. So what we're doing is we're calling a command, which we're telling LaTeX, I want to make a matrix. Now, how many things do I want in this? So entries in the matrix are separated by an ampersand. So if I wanted if I want row 1 to have 3 elements, I do 1 ampersand 2 ampersand 3, and I end with a pair of backslashes. Then I could do 4 ampersand 3 ampersand 4 backslash, and then I'm done. So there's a nice matrix. Really nicely done. So I'm just going to save this so I can show you how to import these things into your document. All right. If I want another row, I just put another row in there. So there's 0, ampersand 1, ampersand 0, double backslash, generate. So I can make matrices of any size. If I want a vector, well, a vector just has one thing per row. So 1, double backslash, 2, double backslash, 3, double backslash gives me a vector. And you can stack these things together. So there's one matrix, and then here's another one. I'll make another one. Or better yet, if I want a matrix operating on a vector, well, let's do this. I know what to do. Let's suppose I want to make a linear combination. So I made a space above begin matrix. I'll do A underscore 1. Right? And you can check every step. You can check to see what happens. Yep, that looks good. And then just use a little copy paste here, and then just change the entries. So I'll do a plus. I'll do another one. I'll do a plus. Do another one. Then I'll check my work. Because just like programming, if you enter something in wrong, it won't make any sense. So if I wanted to set something up, like an equation, this is not quite right yet. But now I can just go through and I can change the subscripts. You know, it really isn't all that bad. Checking my work as I go along. I can check, I can make the entries correct. You know, whatever I'm trying to set up here. And there you go. Now you have a really nice linear combination. So let's save these and then import them into our document and talk about what's going on. So I can insert image. I can upload from the computer. And oops, I need to go to downloads. So for example, that linear combination. Now it comes in quite large. That looks a little silly. I've been doing 600 because of the presentations. So you can scale it down, make it look reasonable, you know. And again, you know, if this is your first step, you know, maybe the second step is the matrix version of this, you know, whereby you create a matrix of these 4 columns operating on the vector A1, A2, A3 equals 0. So that's sort of stuff. Part of the reason I'm giving you, you know, almost 72 hours for these quizzes is because of the typesetting. I suspect that you'll be able to do the quiz, you know, collaborating with some friends, you know, in an hour or a couple hours, depending on how available people are. But then the typesetting might take some time, and you might run into a roadblock. You're not sure how to do something. Remember that you can share this with me if you're having trouble. Whatever. So if you're having trouble getting something to work, share the document with me. You're going to share it with me anyway, and I'll happily come in and help you with the typesetting. All right. So this first quiz, you know, it's not too many questions. You know, it's a short week. But I also want you to practice typesetting and making a document that's nice. If I don't think the document is nice enough, I will have you work on it during this second week. If we spend a little bit of time right now learning how to make these documents readable and clear, the rest of the semester will go a little bit more smoothly. All right. And it might be that one of you becomes better at this than others, in which case, then that's the person who should be doing this, or a couple of you should be typesetting. So you can kind of share this work however you think. It's not that bad, though. Again, most of the commands you already do. Exponents are carets, not a dollar sign. So exponents are carets, and then subscripts are underscores. There are a couple things like fracs and intervals and stuff that will take a little time getting used to. But here's the thing. If you type LaTeX, or LaTeX, say fraction, right, you'll find like tons of information. So you go to a web page, you look, it'll give you something, and then this, actually I should tell you something. So let's look at this particular help page. What are these symbols? That's because LaTeX is an entire typesetting language. Many people in math and science write their entire dissertation in LaTeX. So it's very, very powerful. You just need a little bit of this. So if you take that, for example, and then we go back to our LaTeX site, all right, generate, there you go. So you can find stuff online and then play around with it. Like, how does that work? What does that do? Etc. So it's really easy to find help for LaTeX online. So I'd recommend doing that. It will take a little practice, but it'll be well worth it eventually. Now, I don't ask you to do any graphing here, and so I guess I'll save a video on graphing for later. But definitely, as we start looking at graphs, I'll recommend some graphing software. You can use whatever, but again, it will be importing screenshots. So it'll be putting actual pictures in the document. I think that covers everything I was hoping to cover. If you have any questions, please let me know. And again, share this document back with me as soon as you start working on it, and I'm happy to jump in and help you out while you're doing it. While this is still a quiz, the intention is just that the answers aren't so easy, they're not multiple choice, and I would prefer that you only discuss it with your group and me. So if you want to work alone, please work alone. If you don't, that's fine too. I would say I would prefer that you only work with a couple of people, period, just to make it more reasonable. So even if you're working alone, if you have a friend in the class and you want to send them a message or something, that's fine. I'm not going to police your life. But try to keep it small groups. The intention of the quiz is to kind of press you a bit to see what you've learned. But at the same time, I don't want to deny you useful resources for understanding the material. But share it back with me quickly so that I can help. Okay?